Hello and welcome to this borderline celebration, marking of a milestone. It is now the 5-year anniversary since we started the Epic Film Challenge 2, 1,000 more movies you must see before you die. This dates back to August of 2013 when we filmed the first episode, the first review, which was of Georges Méliès's A Trip to the Moon. Back in 1902, I believe. And we followed that up with Hugo, and then I think Heat. And then 237 episodes later, here we are. There are now 240 videos in the Epic Film Challenge 2 series. And I really wished I'd got to 250 before making this video. But it is now September 2018. And I believe I posted the first Epic Film Challenge 2 video in September of 2013. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you just think, what the hell happened to me? It was going so well. I presented myself, my thoughts and feelings really well as the video was about to begin, and then I went and made the biggest mistake I could possibly make in a video like this that's looking back on the 5-year anniversary of a series, because in fact, the first episode of the Epic Film Challenge 2 was not released in September 2013. No, it was released in November of 2013. But hey, I've already filmed the video now, so you're gonna see it anyway. And the good thing is at least that by the time we hit episode 250, it will have fallen under the 5-year anniversary. And I guess it just goes to show that when I filmed that first video in August of 2013 and didn't release it until November of 2013, that my procrastination truly knows no bounds. Back to the video. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the genesis of the series, where it's been, where it's going. At the very beginning, the early days of my YouTube channel, I started the Epic Film Challenge, the original, which was merely a challenge to myself to watch a film every day for a year and to make a small video about it. These weren't really reviews, just kind of marking that I'd seen them. We tried to make them reviews here and there, and some of them were more successful than others. Me and Connie did a couple of good reviews of the Troll movies, for example, but for the most part, they were very casual vlogs. And I managed to finish it, and I certainly didn't stick to a film a day, I'll tell you that much, but you know, we'd catch up on the weekend and watch 3 or 4 films, and Connie joined me for almost all of those. So that was a fun little 366 video challenge series, and that was very formative for me in watching more films and watching more classic films. Now with the Epic Film Challenge 2, I had seen the book 1,000 More Movies You Must See Before You Die in a shop, and I thought, oh, that'd be cool to pick up and flick through and just see some classic films. And then I bought it, I was on the bus, I was flicking through, I was like, you know, I can make another series out of this, another Epic Film Challenge. You know, I could call it a sequel, Epic Film Challenge 2. And I could try to watch and review every film in this book. How cool would that be? And it was, you know, typical Luke, very overambitious, but something I really wanted to do. And I remember telling Connie this, and she was like, oh, great, you know, when do we start? And I think, well, you're not going to join me for all of them, are you? And she was like, well, I can try. And I just thought, yeah, there's no way. There definitely was no way Connie was going to join me for every single video of the Epic Film Challenge 2. And I'm kind of glad she hasn't, because if I had forced her to sit down and watch Salo or In the Realm of the Senses, I think she might have left me. Not really, but, you know, it'd be pushing things for sure. Pushing her threshold and patience for the films that I sometimes make her watch. So August 2013 we started. First one was A Trip to the Moon, and beyond we did a few reviews here and there, and I think the reviews stopped for about a year, and I was very conscious of the book and films that were in the book, and almost every night we'd decide on a movie. I'd go, well, what's in the book? And I'd pour through the pages, and Connie'd be like, no, you know. And sometimes we would watch films. There are many films we've watched specifically for this series that we just never got around to making videos for. Films like Fargo, Raising Arizona. I guess there's a Coen Brothers theme there, but there have been quite a few films that we watched specifically for the book and just never made the videos for, so now we're going to have to watch them again before we get to that, or I'll watch them again, it depends. And as for, you know, when and how Connie joins me for these things, it is very much a case of me wanting her to be involved as much as possible, but knowing that it would be impossible to finish this thing if I was to wait for her for every film. So if there is a film I feel like would be appropriate that she would enjoy or get something out of, or if it's a film that I think would challenge her but not too much, then I do try to convince her to watch a film like that. And there have been instances where we watch something in the 24-hour movie marathon, and so it kind of crosses over, and it's like, should we review the film all over again? You know, or there have been occasions where we don't do the video for like a month or two, and then Connie gets hazy on the details. And there have been lots of stops and starts of the series, but I think that it was, 2015 or 16 was when I really started ramping up things. And I think it was October 2016 when I did like, I think about 35 reviews in the month of October. That was the most prolific period of this entire series, because I was going through all the horror films in the book, and I didn't get through all of them, but I was, you know, I really went all out that October. Now, I think if I had fully committed myself to this series, made it like the main focus of my channel, I could have finished it when I planned to, which was before my 30th birthday, which is now since passed a couple of months ago. So my 5-year plan to watch 1,001 movies and make a video about each of them was definitely plausible in 5 years, but I never fully paid full attention to it. And I'm fine with that, because it led me down different paths that I never would have gone down if I had stayed solely focused on this Epic Film Challenge series. You know, the silent movies that I kind of got into, some of the Japanese films, the Asian cinema season that I did, and just other things in general, like the 24-hour movie marathon. You know, that kind of grew into something much bigger than it originally was when I first started the Epic Film Challenge too. A few years ago, I think, started the website, epicfilmchallenge2.wordpress.com, where I've catalogued all of the videos so far and the reviews, and I'm happy with that as kind of a reference point for everything that I've done and we've done. And I've really enjoyed the process of reviewing those films and not ranking them out of 5 or 10, but deciding whether it's a film you should see before you die based on my own opinion. It's always great when me and Connie disagree on that as well. But, you know, it's fun, and it raises good debates, because people are like, wow, of course this isn't a film you should see before you die, and of course it is, you're crazy. You know, and it's such an interesting way to judge a film. Probably not the best way to, because really what you're looking at is judging a film on either yes or no. You know, it's just 2 points. There's no wiggle room in between. You know, I can say something like, you know, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I can say that a certain film is a film you should see before you die. But that doesn't mean I think it's as important as, say, Seven Samurai or Rear Window or Citizen Kane, you know. So it's one of those things where you have to judge it on a case-by-case basis, which I really enjoy doing. You know, take A Fish Called Wanda, which I thought of because I'm looking at the Blu-ray right now. That's a film where, at first, I really enjoyed this. At first I thought, yeah, this is a good comedy film, but I wouldn't say it's a film you should see before you die. And then I did the review, and Connie said, yeah, I think it is. I really enjoyed it. And as we talked about it and remembered the film, I thought of it more fondly. And then I compared it to other similar films, comedy films, that are in the book that I don't think are, you know, worth seeing before you die. Like, say, Beverly Hills Cop, which I thought was really enjoyable, but nothing that special. So for me, you know, I love kind of looking at it from that perspective, and not just saying this is a masterpiece, but yeah, if we're going to talk comedies and the films that are already in there, this is one of the better ones, I think, that I've seen so far. So that's kind of, you know, just a very brief kind of look back on the series. Where do I want to see it go in the future? And of course, you know, one of the main reasons I started it was to find films I'd never seen before. Not just something like, let me think of a really good example, something that was a classic, that Goodfellas, which I don't think I've even did the review for yet. I'm going to have to rewatch that again, because I did a movie vlog of it and then didn't do the full review. Goodfellas, that's a film I've known about for years and known that I've always needed to see it because it's Goodfellas, right? So that was an obvious one, but I wanted to be really surprised by films I'd never heard of before, something like Through the Olive Trees, you know, or The Music Room, you know, just these incredible movies that I'd never heard of before and would probably have never have sought out if I hadn't had that book driving me to do it. Now, another thing I should note is that, of course, I'm working off the 2011 edition of the book, or I guess the 2012 edition, which only goes up to 2011. There have since been, you know, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 editions. So lots of films have been taken out of the book that I'm currently working from, and films have been added as well. So I would certainly assume that Bridesmaids isn't in the current edition of the book, because they have to add a whole bunch of new films every year. So that's interesting. And I think it's the best way to do it, is to just go from the book that I started with, and when I get to the end, I can kind of mop up maybe the other 100, 200 films that are kind of have been in other versions of the book. Now, the future of the series. I completely and utterly failed to finish it by the time I was 30, and I didn't even get a quarter of the way. I'm very close. I think we'll hit episode 250 in the next month or two. So where do I go from here? Do I kind of take the progress I've made in the past 5 years and amplify that forward to the point where I'll be 35, 40, 45 before I finish it? 50? You know? Or do I really make a concerted effort to do it by the time I'm 35, I should say? I don't know. I certainly am not going to try and place anything on it anymore. There was a goal. It has long since passed. But that's fine. I'm kind of fine with that, really. You know, and there is something to be said for time between watching films, and to kind of really push myself to watch, you know, film, 2 films every day and make reviews every day. You know, the love of it would disappear somewhat, I think. I'd still enjoy it because there's so many great films in the book I've yet to see, I'm sure. But, you know, it's one of those things where I don't think it can be rushed, or shouldn't be rushed. And yeah, so over the years, I've kind of grown to taking some pride in the videos, trying to present them as best as I possibly can. Well, not the best I possibly can, but, you know, the best I can while still being able to edit the video in about an hour or two, you know. Putting in images, but not having images kind of moving and slowly zooming in like I like to do when I put effort into videos, but just like a still frame, just to illustrate some points. I really like to get the best quality images possible, so that takes a lot of time sometimes. I'm trying to find the right image, but in the right resolution. So I do try to put that effort forward, but I'm certainly not going to do something as elaborate as, say, Cinematic Venom, who puts in a huge amount of effort into all of his reviews. He does a similar series going through the book. But moving forward, I want to finish it. I will finish it. I'm proud of myself that I've got this far and that I have almost 250 reviews in my back pocket after having done this for over 5 years at this point. And I really hope to finish it at some point, you know. And I do have a plan to do the Epic Film Challenge 3, which won't be as epic, but it will be reviewing all of the other films that have been in all the books, so I can be completely and utterly complete with that. And I would love to kind of, you know, get to some of the later films like Mad Max Fury Road and talk about that. Is that a film you should see before you die? I love giving my opinion on it, and I love it when I think that it shouldn't be. You know, I love it when I find a film that, well, I don't love it actually. There have been a few that I've really haven't loved to not like Salo, like In the Realm of the Senses, like Heaven and Earth Magic. And it always intrigues me when I find like an art house film or something that I really don't like, and you get all these people coming out of the woodwork telling me what a piece of shit I am for not understanding it. And so that's kind of an enjoyable part of it in some way. You know, I'd be lying if I said it didn't kind of take me aback a little bit, but it's fun to see that every film out there has a champion for it. You know, there's someone who enjoys everything out there at some point in some way. So that's kind of fun. And I think some of the videos have gotten a lot of views. I think the In the Realm of the Senses one got like over 20,000 views. But, you know, you think that people are kind of clicking on that video because of the controversial nature of the movie. I don't know. But, you know, the series itself does okay. You know, most videos get around 100 views. I'm happy with that. I like it when they get a bit more, of course. I like to see more eyes on some of the reviews. Some of them I have really put effort into. Like the main one I can think of is the Metropolis review that me and Connie did. I put a lot of time into that, and it was great to talk about that film. And that's an example of a film I really needed Connie to sit down and watch so I could get her take on it and edit clips from the movie in. So that was probably, I think, the most accomplished review of the entire series over the past 5 years. And there are some that I put more effort into and more than others, like maybe the Star Wars one or the Blade Runner one, just getting more images and more visual illustrative points into the video with the editing and things like that. I've also had a few guests over the years, not many, far too little in my opinion. I think I had Ryan Chataway talk about Freaks. I think I had CP, or at least I have a clip of CP talking about a film, Sherlock Jr. So when I get to reviewing Sherlock Jr., you'll have a guest spot from CP from Will I Like It Reviews talking about it as well. I'm about to sneeze. I'll leave that one in for free. So I think I've kind of covered most bases there, I suppose. I plan to continue making the videos in the same way that I have, trying to get Connie in as many videos as I can, but for the most part just powering through myself. I am consciously holding back certain films for milestone episodes. I think the 50th episode was Spirited Away, which I had a guest in my brother Tommy. That was really enjoyable. Episode 100 was, I believe, Alien, which was great to do and talk about with Connie. 150 was Avatar. I really enjoyed that one, and diving into why people don't like it, even though it's this hugely successful movie. 200 was... I forgot what episode 200 was, actually, thinking about it. Was it Star Wars? Blade Runner, I think it was. I think it might have been Blade Runner. So episode 250, I'm not sure what it'll be yet. I have an idea, but it would be too big, so I might not get to it. I'm not sure yet. But I am consciously holding back some of the bigger things for milestone episodes, so that when it gets like 250, 300, 350, 400, you can expect something with a bit more circumstance to it, pomp and circumstance, I should say, where it'll be something that is kind of held as a big film, or controversial film, something like that. So yeah, or just a huge, like Jurassic Park or something that I would love to talk about. And I very much have the final review in mind, and have done since the day we started this over 5 years ago. I know what the 1001st review video will be, and so I'm holding off on that one. I'm very much looking forward. It's because I know that it's going to be a great way to end it, and it's going to be so enjoyable, and I can't wait for that day when I sit down and record that review for that movie. And I can say that I've done it and finished the book, at least the one that, you know, I started with. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you continue to watch some of the reviews coming forward. I know that people can't watch everything. You know, there's certain films you're just not interested in hearing about. I get it, you know, and some of the films I'm not that interested in talking about that much sometimes. But, you know, I like broadening my horizons, and I like seeing things that I would never have normally watched. Gabba is another one. Just this Iranian film that just I never would have sought it out before, and it was quite beautiful. If not, you know, certainly not the best one I've ever seen, but it was something that I never would have seen before or even known about. And so that's when I really appreciate what this book, this challenge that I've imposed on myself, pushes me to go and watch. So yeah, and I would recommend it to anyone if you really feel like challenging yourself. But it does take take some dedication that has absolutely, for me, waned in over certain months in my life. And, you know, I really feel like if I properly push myself, I could have gotten a lot further than I have. But it is what it is, and I'll try my best moving forward. Another one of my favorite reviews of the entire series is still the review that I did for The Kid Brother with me and Connie. To sit down with Connie for like 15 minutes and talk enthusiastically about a silent film is something that I greatly treasure. And another one would be The Graduate. I was really happy with our review of The Graduate. Anyway, I'll leave it there. I get too rambly about these things. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.